the first time in his life, the regular beat of John's heart is under threat. A patch of 4 million muscle cells is running low on oxygen.
John, what's up? What's the matter?
5 minutes after his heart attack began, John's body is struggling to deal with the crisis. His brain has triggered a surge of the hormone adrenaline into his bloodstream. This is one of the most primitive and powerful reactions in the human body. Adrenaline arrives in his heart and soaks into its inner walls. The pacemaker begins to accelerate. John's heart is racing at 140 beats per minute, even faster than when he was running around. But now all its efforts are focused on its own starving muscle.
Call an ambulance.
But adrenaline can do nothing about the growing clot, which fills 90% of his artery. The supply of oxygen to his heart cells is down to a trickle. They are forced to shut down the function which absorbs most of their energy. They stop beating, leaving the rest of his heart to take up the slack. John's weakened heart cannot sustain its beat much longer.
We're just playing a game of football.
How's the pain now, John? Okay.
He loves football, John.
It's now 15 minutes since his heart attack began, and the flow of blood through John's artery is almost totally blocked. The heart muscle cells no longer have the energy to hold themselves in one piece. Their thin membranes are starting to leak.
You're gonna be okay, John. Just hang on in there.
John's injured heart is wearing itself out. Its beat is getting weaker. The effects are beginning to tell on the rest of his body. John is struggling to breathe because his lungs are filling with fluid. As his heart weakens, blood backs up in the vessels coming from his lungs. The extra pressure forces liquid out of his blood into the air sacs of his lungs. If the process doesn't stop, he could drown in his own body fluid.
You must keep this on. Nice, steady breaths now. Well done, mate.
Bringing in a 45-year-old male, possible MI, ETA 3 minutes, over.
Just hold on, John. We're nearly there. They'll sort you out.
The lack of oxygen in John's body is beginning to affect his brain. He's dizzy and disoriented. Time is running out for John. His starved heart muscle cells are beginning to burst and die.
Let's get into his first one, which you can be.
If he's not treated within the next 20 minutes, his heart will be so badly damaged it will never beat normally again.
What's the story?
John Palmer, 45-year-old. Collapsed with chest pains playing football. No past history, bit hypertensive. BP 90/50, tachycardia 120.
When did your pain start, John?
I don't know. They said about half an hour ago.
Don't worry, John. We'll soon have you sorted out.
Are you his friend? Yeah. Do you know if he's got a heart problem? Can you give his details to reception?
Right, let's do it. Try to leave quick as you can, please.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
John is losing 500 heart cells each second, and unlike most cells in his body, they can never be replaced.
He's had a big anterior MI. We have to thrombolyze him. No contraindications, so let's give him some TPA.
By measuring the pattern of electricity in John's heart, the ECG locates the dying patch of muscle. Now his only hope is that his blocked artery can be cleared by a clot-busting drug, tissue plasminogen activator, or TPA. The TPA must reach the clot before so many heart cells die that his heart stops, and he dies too. John's heart muscle has been reconnected just in time.
Susie, hi, customer for you.
Only 500,000 cells have been lost. The survivors are starting to beat once more. His condition has stabilized.
Can you have a bed ready about 10 minutes?
But as oxygen floods back, one surviving cell starts to beat out of step. It's generating its own electrical signal. This single cell, with its different beat, throws John's heart into chaos. Its signal clashes with the pacemaker's. Electrical anarchy breaks out. Without a unifying pulse, his heart is unable to beat. It is in VF, ventricular fibrillation. His brain's oxygen supply drops to nothing.
VF arrest. Call the crash team.
Unless John's heart is made to beat again in the next 4 minutes, his brain will be permanently damaged.
4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Charging 200 joules. Stand clear, please.
The shock is 130,000 watts, enough power to light a football stadium. It's not designed to start John's heart. Instead, it stops it dead, to give the pacemaker a chance to take back control.
Shit, it's still VF. Charging 200. Stand clear, everyone. Okay, thank you, everybody. Let's get him up to CCU quickly. It's all right, John. You've done really well.
Your heart went into a funny rhythm, John, but you're going to be okay. Okay?
Over the next 5 days, the ruptured membrane of John's plaque will heal. During that time, he'll be given drugs to stop a new clot from forming. But the plaque will always remain in his artery.
There's damp coming through that wall, look.
Relax, will ya? You're beginning to sound like Kenny. Forget about work.
And you better forget about the football too.
Here you go.
On the leg.
John has had a lucky escape. For the rest of his life, he'll take blood-thinning drugs to prevent his arteries from blocking again. On his heart, the 500,000 cells that died have left a scar. A permanent reminder of the trauma it has suffered.
Get into the net, come on. No! This is incredible. It's disastrous. We've managed team. 1-on-1.